Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego. And we're here live in the Mountain Dew studios here in the Panhandle of Florida, giving you free information about your K1 visa process and your green card process. And it only took 8 minutes for this internet company to connect me to YouTube. 8 minutes. That's pretty pitiful. I'm getting very close to kicking this internet server company to the curb and getting a different company. Seriously. This is Karina, my beautiful wife from Venezuela. She is a green card holder since June 25th, 2024. She had her scary visa interview at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, November 16th, 2023. She had her biometrics and her physical done in Bogota, Colombia. And Uno Mikey's in the house. Yo, hey, Uno Mikey, what's going on? I apologize. We normally like to get the show started at 6 o'clock Central Time. But apparently this internet company, okay, didn't want to connect me. Well, you know what? If they do that again, it's easy to fix. I'll kick them to the curb and I will fire the company and I will get an internet server that will actually connect me when I want to join up on a live stream. Okay? Competition is great, right? In America, in a capitalist country. But we hope everybody's doing well. I got some cold Mountain Dew here. We got the Mountain Dew hat here, and we're in the Mountain Dew studios. Now, Mountain Dew doesn't pay me to say that. I just like Mountain Dew. I was in Colombia for almost, 2.5 years, and unfortunately, you're not allowed they don't allow Mountain Dew to be shipped to Colombia. So for 2.5 years, I went without my favorite beverage, but now we're here in America answering all your questions. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you any legal advice. You don't need an immigration attorney to do this very simple process of responding to paperwork to immigration for a K1 visa or for a green card or for a spousal visa or for a tourist visa. If you want a tourist visa, I'll explain to you how to do it. If you're trying to get a spousal visa, I'll explain to you how to do it. The biggest thing between the K1 visa interview and the spousal visa interview is for the K1 visa interview, except for Mexico, you, Mr. Sponsor or Miss Beneficiary, you have to schedule the visa interview. If you're on a spousal visa, like a CR1 or an IR1 spousal visa, the National Visa Center schedules the visa interview for you at the embassy. There's another difference between a K1 visa and a spousal visa. With a K1 visa, you complete a DS-160, which is your application for your visa interview, for your K1. If you're on a spousal visa, you fill out a DS-260, okay? That's the difference. A K1 visa is a DS-160, a spousal visa is a DS-260. And what does DS stand for, you may ask Diego? What the heck is DS? DS is Department of State. Now, Uno Mikey, since I'm doing a spousal visa, that visa fee that I had paid in the DS-260, do I have to pay it again on my wife's interview on October 8th? If you've already, I think when you read the paperwork, they ask for a second payment at the embassy interview. There's a second payment at the embassy interview where you got to make for a spousal visa. I'm pretty sure there is a second visa payment because that's the payment for the green card. So you're paying for the visa interview and then you're paying for the green card. When you get to the embassy, you got to pay. You can pay at the embassy. You're in Bogota, Colombia, right? You can pay at the embassy, okay? You can use US dollars to pay for that at the embassy. Yes, there is a second payment. I believe that's for the green card. For the spousal visa, it's a little different from the K1. Josias Pazelli, our friend from Argentina. If my wife changes her name legally to my last name before we send the adjustment of status, would it affect something with the government? You can't. The way you change your wife's last name is on page 1 of the form 485 for the adjustment of status. Right here. When you adjust the status for your wife to apply for the green card, on page 1, right here, this is her married name to you, Josias, and then this is her maiden name. When you fill out the paperwork for the green card, that's when you change the last name for your wife. Okay? What are the papers in the adjustment of status? It must be original documents instead of normal copies. There are no original documents. You do not send original documents to immigration. You never ever send an original document to immigration, whether it's for a K-1 application or for a green card. You send certified copies. Okay? The question is, must be original documents instead of normal copies. You got to submit certified copies. Depends on what it is. If it's a divorce decree, it has to be a certified copy from the courthouse. Do I have to put my social security number photocopy in the adjustment of status because I got one since I came to the USA? Yes, you must, and you must include it on page 2 of the Form 485. Osias, when you apply for your green card, on page 2 of Form 485, they're going to ask you, did the Social Security Administration issue you a social security number? What are you going to say? Yes. What are you going to do? You're going to fill out page 2 right here of your 485, and right here is where you're going to write your social security number. Right here. This is where you're going to put it. On page 2. Very simple. This is so easy, guys. Francois Livingston. Good evening, Diego and Karina. Hope your week is super awesome. It's going great. Today's Wednesday already. August is almost gone. It's almost September. And September is Francois Livingston's Prometidos scary amazing interview at the embassy in the United Arab Emirates, right? In Abu Dhabi. At the embassy, at the consulate. Larry Percy, San Diego on the I-485. On the top right-hand side is a number, alien number. We leave it blank. I cannot remember. You leave it blank. Don't touch it. That alien number is, you leave it blank. It's got a big black arrow, right? There's like a big, there's an arrow and it's painted black, right? You leave it blank. So I'll give everybody Mountain Dew salutes, especially for Josias, because he's from Argentina. And I love the new president of Argentina. He's a great patriot. So a Mountain Dew salute to the president of Argentina and Josias. Ronnie Tripp. Ronnie, I'm doing a K-1 visa. I received my welcome letter July 24th, and it is now August 28th. I've yet to receive my letter of instruction from the Kenyan embassy. Do I need instructions? Yes. What you need to do is contact the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi with an email, and in the subject line of the email, you're going to put your NOA2 number, receipt number, and in the body of the email, you're going to put the beneficiary's full name, date of birth, and passport number. And you're going to ask the question, what's the status of my case? Because you're waiting for the ready status. That's all you're waiting for. Chatavera, my fiance went to Bogota for K-1 visa. They approved it right away. It's been a week and they haven't contacted us as to where to pick up his passport and the visa. How long does it take? Well, here's the deal. When I scheduled Karina's K-1 visa interview at the embassy in Bogota, they asked me, where do you want to pick up the passport and the K-1 visa? They gave us two choices. I got the addresses right here. They gave me two choices. Medellin, Colombia, or Bogota, Colombia. So you pick, you know what the address is because they ask you where do you want to pick it up at. Then they send you an email with the directions on where to pick up the K-1 visa packet. I think it's on Gold Street. You got an email telling you where to pick it up. I mean, Bogota is easy. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I don't know if I have it anymore. I don't think I have it. Huh? Right, I don't have it. But you got an email from the embassy telling you where they give you a choice. Where do you want to pick up the K-1 visa from? Bogota at this address or in Medellin? So your fiance went to Bogota for the K-1 visa. Look in your emails. You got to look for the issued status, number one. Once you get the issued status in your online account, look for the issued status and you go pick it up. You may have to set an appointment now because it's the summertime. In the summertime, you may have to set an appointment to pick up your K1 visa passport and the passport once it's all processed. But you can't do anything until you get the issued status. Okay, once it's issued, you can go get it. But what you should do is set an appointment. I think during the summer you have to. How long does it take? You took Karina probably 2 days to get hers, but we were in the wintertime. Let me see here. Now make sure you understand what I'm saying here, Chatavera. They haven't contacted you where to pick up the passport and visa. You pick it up at the place where they told you. Where did you pick? What location did you pick for passport pickup? You got a choice of 2 places: Bogota with the address, or Medellin with the address. Where did you pick? It's in the emails that you told them where to pick it up at. They emailed you the address. You have it. Look through your email account. Look through your emails, okay? If you don't have it, I will find the address for you for the next live stream. I'll give you the address. Josias. Diego, I got married in June 29th of 2024. That's good. I haven't sent my adjustment of status yet. That's okay. That means that it has been more than 60 days. That's okay. Am I going to have any trouble if I send it, for example, before September 15th? No, you're not. But I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute for getting married, Josias. Let me give you a Mountain Dew salute. And let me calm you down a little bit on your nerves. The K1 visa gives you permission to enter the United States. That's all it is. Once you use it and the wheels of the airplane land in America, the K1 visa becomes irrelevant. It becomes obsolete. It no longer has any purpose. Then you check in with the Border Patrol, or the Customs and Border Patrol, whatever you want to call them, and then they issue you an I-94, which is a 90-day I-94. The K1 visa goes away. Now you have an I-94. You get married within the 90 days on the I-94. When you submit your K1 visa, when you submit your green card application, immigration is going to check the date on your marriage certificate. They're going to check the time on your I-94. And if you got married within the 90 days on the I-94, you're in status. So if it's taking you 60, 70 days to file your green card application, that's okay. You're good. Take your time. But you want to get it done before at least 6 months, okay? So the question is, if I don't fill out my adjustment of status before 90 days, my I-94 expires. Is it true? When your I-94 expires, so what? Who cares? Right? It's irrelevant. As long as you got married within 90 days, that's all they care about. Submit your green card application. Even if your I-94 is expired, you can still submit your green card application without getting deported. Okay? But don't go past 6 months. Francois Livingston, I had to pick a courier the day I made the interview appointment for where to pick it up, the K1 visa after the interview. That's right. Everybody that schedules a visa interview at an embassy or a consulate has to pick a courier and a pickup service. Or where do you want to pick up your K1 visa at? Larry Piercy, how about Tuesday, September 3rd for TRH? That's a good time. 1,700 hours. Francois Livingston, here we are, nervous about the upcoming interview, and all these cases are flying through the interviews like it's nothing. Hang in there, Francois. You're at the end here. And Karina's making sure I don't miss anybody. September the 3rd at 1,700 hours is a good day. We'll see you at 1,700 hours at TRH. Miguel, wife and I sent her green card package last Friday. All right, Miguel, that's a Mountain Dew salute. Congratulations. Josias, a friend of mine just sent me a message saying that I could have problems with the government if I don't do my adjustment of status before the 90 days. Is that true? Total baloney. You're a total baloney. How many K1 visas has your friend processed? How many green card applications has your friend processed? Or is he an armchair K1 visa guru that gets bad information off the internet? You got 90 days to get married. You got 6 months max to file for the green card. You don't want to go past 6 months. Francois Livingston, I had to pick a courier. Yeah, when you apply for your, when you set up your green card, if you're a spousal visa person, or when you schedule your K1 visa interview at the embassy, they ask you, where do you want to pick up your passport? And they ask you, and you got to pick a place. I picked Bogota. It was 20 minutes down the street from where we lived. Ronnie, here again. I've had a ready status for about a month. I will send an email to the embassy in Nairobi. That's good. You need to do that. But don't forget, put the receipt number of the NOA2 letter in the subject line and your beneficiary's full name. Okay? So they can see the email. They can go straight away and call up your case from the subject line. Okay? Game Shilon. Hi, Diego. Sorry, the other day I was busy. That's why I couldn't reply. Me and my family are doing great. That's good. I'm just not feeling good with the embassy in Monrovia. This is Liberia, right? Isn't that in Africa? You're not feeling good with the embassy? Hang in there. Nobody, I don't know anybody that feels good about going to a visa interview or trying to schedule a visa interview or waiting for the results of an NOA1 letter or an NOA2 letter or whatever. The process is difficult and it's stressful. We know that. But the best thing to do is, as long as you know you're qualified for the benefit, Mr. Sponsor, Ms. Sponsor, Mr. Beneficiary. If you're qualified for the benefit, just wait out the process and go through the process. Just wade through it. Alfredo Miranda, how long after having the interview waived can we expect a decision? What interview did you get waived? What are you talking about? What interview are you talking about? Alfredo, you got to give me more information. Interview waived where? Number one, a K1 visa interview is never waived. You got to have a K1 visa interview. So the only thing I can think of is a green card interview. How long after having the interview waived can we? I'm thinking, are you talking about a green card interview? Let's see here. MB, greetings. I'm now out my fiance's work permit and green card from last week. How long does it take to get the work permit and the green card? About 3 to 3 months for the work permit and about 5 to 6 months for the green card right now. But that could change. Hosias, she found an article saying that I would be not undocumented. I would be undocumented because I didn't file my adjustment of status before the 90 days. Hosias, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. Okay? I'm not going to keep repeating myself. You do not have to file your green card within 90 days. Okay? You got to get married within 90 days. If you don't get married within 90 days, you become undocumented and you will be under deportation. If you get married within 90 days in the I-94, you're good. But don't wait longer than 6 months to apply for the freaking green card. Tell your friend, okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Mapendano KO8, Ronnie Tripp, please call the embassy in Nairobi. Chatavera, they only told him to give his phone number and email, that they would contact him as to where to pick it up. We checked the status and the visa, it says refused. It's going to say refused, Chatavera, until the visa is issued. Just every single embassy in the world and consulate's going to say refused until it says issued. It's going to go refused, approved, issued. Okay? When you paid the visa fee and scheduled the visa interview at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia, you were given the choices of places, 2 places where to pick up the K1 visa packet. They gave you a choice of 2 places and the address. You print the email with the address on it. Karina still has it in the back there. That's how it works. Who is they? They only told him to give his phone number and email. They would contact him as to where and when to pick it up. No, that's not how it works. You put on the check which box, the address in Bogota or Medellin for the pickup of the visa. Okay, when it says issued, then you gotta contact them and make an appointment to go get it. It's easy. It's a simple process. But it's going to say refused until you get approved and then issued. Okay? And Mependano KOX says, don't send an email, call them. Okay? Well, you don't have evidence of contact with the immigration if you don't send an email. So Mependano KOX, if you do not send an email, there is no evidence of contact with the embassy. A phone call is not evidence, is zero evidence of contact, because they don't keep a record of phone calls. But if you send an email and back it up with a phone call, you got evidence of contact with the embassy. Immigration will cancel a frickin' visa if you do not contact them and maintain contact with the embassy. They will cancel your visa. Okay? After a certain period of time. You gotta maintain contact. And you do it with a frickin' email, and then you can back it up with a phone call. Okay? That's how it works. And now Mependino is telling Ronnie, don't send them an email. Well, you know what? That's very bad advice. And you're no longer watching the channel, dude. That's bad advice. Okay? If you put bad advice out on this channel, you are blocked, guys. Let's see. April Flower, hi Diego. It's been about a week and a half since we submitted a photo of my fiance. Quit status is still in application received. Even though he had an interview, they just requested photos. Okay. They want to see pictures of him right when he was 15, 16, 17 years old. Miguel, how long until we get an electronic notification from USCIS for our green card package? Well, it should take about a week. Depends on how busy they are. Did you include a G1145 in your green card application? That's the form where they will send you a text message, an electronic notification. As long as you included the G1145 in your green card application, then you'll get a text message with a receipt number. Okay? You'll get a receipt number. But it'll give them a week, but it's the summertime, so it may take a bit longer. Karina got her notification after about, I think it was like 5 days. After 5 days, but we did the application back in the winter time. Now it's a little slower. Let me see. Josias, I told my friend Diego that I would be in a status even if I didn't file my adjustment of status and my I-94 expired. I just got afraid for a second. No, Josias, don't be scared. You're with me, man. I got my arm around you. Right? Karina also. You're my friend from Argentina. Okay? We're gonna give the president of Argentina another Mountain Dew salute. He is saving your country, my friend, from socialist destruction. Josias, relax. You're good, okay? Jean Ganesh, hi Diego and Karina. I have a big problem. We did the adjustment of status. I used a credit card to make the payment. Don't do that. After online said fine, the credit card is declined. I should have used a check. You're right. How many times, guys, have I said to you guys, how many times? You watch the channel. Most of you watch the channel regularly, right? Some of you got new people on the channel. That's great. But I always tell you, never ever use your credit card to pay for a freaking green card or for the K1 visa. There's a good chance your bank will not recognize the charge. Your bank's going to get billed $1,440 from a company which immigration uses, and the bank may not recognize it. 9 times out of 10, they will block the transaction. Always pay for your green card with a cashier's check or a check. Don't use a money order either. Money order is only good for $1,000. Use a check or a cashier's check to pay for your green card and for your K1 visa. It's not a big problem, Jin Ganesh. The way to solve it is to get a copy of your NOA2 letter, a copy of the K1 visa, the I-94, and a check, and overnight it to them, okay? Using FedEx, DHL, or UPS. overnight them the check so they don't skip, they don't send back all your stuff. And don't, your bank needs to, you need to be calling your bank and telling them they put you in jeopardy with your family. Let me see here. Hosea, so Diego, to make sure, do I have 6 months since the day I got married to file the adjustment of status? You want to do it within no longer than 6 months. The best time to file for your green card is about 60 or 70 days after you get married. 60 or 70 days gives you enough time to put your green card package together. 5 months, in my opinion, is the max that you should wait. 6 months is the cutoff. So you don't want to wait till 6 months. You want to get it done by at least 5 months. But then, immigration is not going to be in a big rush to process your green card. The best time to file for your green card is about 60 or 70 days after you get married. Okay? That gives you more than enough time to put your package together. April Flower, the last updated date in the SEAC, which is the Consular Electronic Application Center, the State Department website, changes, but the status does not. Keep looking, April Flower. Relax. Uno Mikey, I Google it, and it says if you do the DS-260 and pay the visa fee, you don't have to pay anything because it's already paid. Here's what you do, Uno Mikey. You're in a spousal visa. Now, if I recall, although things could have changed, in a spousal visa, you got to pay for the green card at the embassy. Okay? But that could have changed. Things are fluid in immigration. When you get to the embassy, okay, ask them, are there any more payments do I have to make? Are there any more bills that I got to pay? And the immigration officer will tell you, okay? I mean, you got to ask the immigration officer. But I remember in the past, 9 years ago, you paid the visa fee, and then you had to pay some other fee, okay, for the spousal visa. This isn't for the K-1. You got to pay for the green card, right? It's not free. They will not issue you a green card if you don't pay for it at the spousal visa interview, or unless you've already paid it through another process. Josias, you are the best as always, Diego. I didn't hear your answer for my question. If I have to notarize my birth certificate, no, you don't. Or just a normal official translation is fine, perfectly fine. But when you get it translated, Osias, it's got to have an ATA number. You got to use a certified translation company to translate your birth certificate from Spanish into English. Now, the Spanish group is a good company. They don't pay me to say this, right? But this company right here, I'm going to type it out. If you use this company right here, they will issue you a certified translation with an ATA number. Immigration will accept that, and it's not very expensive. Let me see. Uno Mikey, why I paid for the visa fee in the beginning just to pay it again at the end of my DS-260. You're not paying for the visa fee. You pay the visa fee, then you got to pay for the green card. In a spousal visa, it's different from a K-1 visa. A K-1 visa, you pay the visa fee up front, then you pay the consular fee of $265. Then you pay for the medical exam, whatever that is. In Colombia, it's about $400. Then you pay for the green card in the United States of America, which is $1,440. Okay? I look it up and it says I'll have to pay the green card fee when my wife gets in America. You can do that if you want to, but you will not get the green card. So the process is, I remember the process in Bogota, Colombia on a spousal visa was, you pay the visa, the consular fee, and then you pay for the green card at the embassy using US dollars. If you don't pay for it, you won't get the green card. But if the process now says you have to wait until she gets to the United States before you pay it, then do that. But what I would do is ask the consular officer at the embassy in Bogota, how do I pay for the green card? Can I pay here, or do I wait till I get to the United States? Okay? But either way, you got to pay for the freaking green card, either at the embassy or in the United States. If it's now in America, pay it in America. Mail it to the lockbox, wherever you're going to live in America. Where are you going to live? If you're going to live in Florida, it goes to Chicago. Let me see here. Alfredo Miranda submitted the adjustment of status, waiting for the approval, but was told the interview was waived. Okay, how long could it take for a decision to be made after the interview was made? It's about 4 to 5 months right now for a green card application. Josias, Diego, I didn't write that question twice. It was at the chat on YouTube that showed you that. Okay, yeah, YouTube runs the show. I'm just grateful to YouTube to let me use the platform so I can help you guys for free. I try to give you all this information, okay? I had to block that other guy because he was telling people not to email the embassy. You gotta maintain contact with the embassy, guys, if it's going to be a long process, because that's the only way you can prove contact. So if it comes to a point, if the embassy cancels your visa, you can say, well, I've been in contact with you. You can prove it with emails. You can't prove it with a freaking phone call. Okay? So that person is I don't like to do that. Okay? But when you put bad information out on this channel, I'm going to kick you off. Because this is affecting people's lives, okay? Your life, your family, right, is right here, okay? The information has to be 100% correct all the time. Let me see here. Dwayne Patterson, hi Diego, my fiance got our visa approved on the 27th of August, Mountain Dew salute. Thanks so much for your help throughout this tough process. You're the best. A Mountain Dew salute for Dwayne and his family. It's not an easy process, and it's stressful, and it's expensive, and any mistake can cost a lot of time and a lot of money, right? So that you're on this channel because I don't make mistakes, okay? I don't make mistakes. Let me see here. Miguel, yes, we did include the G1145. Are there two separate e-notifications, one for the work permit and one for the green card? Yes, it's going to be two separate. Uno Maki, I look up and they say I'll have to pay the green card fee when I get to America. My wife goes, okay, then do that. But before you make that call, talk to the consular officer at the embassy, okay? Because they may say, no, you got to pay us now at the embassy. They could. Listen to me, okay? Pay attention. Josias, Diego, I have my bills in paper that came to my mail with my wife and my name on it. Should I send the original bills or just a copy? You can do whatever you want. You can send the original bills if you want. You don't need them for anything, right? You can use original bills. You don't want to send original birth certificate or, anything original that's a legal document. But a freaking electric bill, you can put the original one in there. There's no problem. Diego, to pay for the adjustment of status and my work permit, number one, you don't need to pay for a work permit. You're going to get your freaking green card a month after you get your work permit. Why are you going to spend $260 on a work permit that you're only going to use for a couple of weeks? It's a waste of money. Don't waste your money on the work permit. Number one. Okay. Let's see here. Diego, to pay for the adjustment of status and my work permit, I have to put a check in the packet that I'm sending with the exact amount of money. No cash. No efectivo. Señor, Josias, por favor, tú no usas efectivo para tu green card, tu tarjeta verde. No efectivo. In a check. Okay? And forget the work permit. Don't waste your money on it. You're going to write a check for $1,440. That's for the green card and the biometrics. The work permit's $260. Do you really want to spend $260 for something you can only use for maybe a month or two? Be patient. Wait for the green card. In a check, not in efectivo, por favor. Francois, Diego, for the green card, is Hamid going to need a certified copy of his birth certificate again? He got one for the upcoming interview, but that's going to be submitted to the consulate. He doesn't need a certified copy for the green card application. Just use the same birth certificate. Make a copy of the one you're going to present to the consular officer and use that for the green card application. But make sure it gets, I don't know if it's in English or not. Is it in English or in Arabic? Is it in English? If it's in English with underneath is in Arabic, you can use it. Just make a copy of it. A certified copy of it. Miguel to Francois, yes, you will need another one as translated copy, if not already in English. I recommend using the suggested site Diego provided. They are great. Josias, your Spanish is getting better every time that I hear you. Good job, Diego. You surprised me. Tú es muy sorprendido. Mi español es mejor. Karina también. Mi español, yo practico día. Yo siempre hablamos. Hablamos. Yo siempre hablamos. Yo siempre hablo en español. And Karina's learning English. But thank you very much, Josias. Now listen. When you submit your green card application, if you have birth certificates that are in a foreign language, they got to be translated into English by a certified translation company. Now, what do I mean by that? Immigration's looking for an ATA certification on the translation. Okay? The SpanishGroup.org does an ATA certification on the translation. And it's cheap. It's like $25 for a birth certificate to get translated. Francois, I had the certified birth certificate translated by the Spanish Group. That's right. Same company I've been using for 3 years now. There you go. Osias, Diego, is the title of the car, for example, and really big evidence for USCIS? Yes. Osias, your name and your wife's name need to be on the title to the car. It's joint ownership of property. Because I have a lot of evidence, but I don't have my name in the title of the car. I'm going to get a Smith's card in my name. Okay, if you're going to get a Smith's card in your name, Josias, your wife needs to have a Smith's card in her name, right? Then you're going to get a piece of paper like this, and you're going to take take a copy of your Smith's card here, and your wife's Smith's card here. You're going to tape it on the piece of paper. So that way, immigration can see you and your wife both belong to Smiths. That's right. Make sure you put both copies of the Smiths cards in the green card application, yours and your wife's, on a white piece of paper. Immigration will flip through it. They're going to say, okay, Osias and Mrs. Osias, they have a joint account with Smiths. That's commingling of stuff. That's joint habitation, joint cohabitation, commingling of your life together. Also, my name appears in our apartment lease, and it says the bill's in the lease. That's good. You want to have your name on the apartment lease where you live with your wife, and your wife's name needs to be on the apartment lease also. Why? You got to show you guys are living together. Why? Because if you don't prove it. If you don't prove cohabitation when you apply for the green card, immigration is going to send you an RFE. You don't have sufficient evidence. You don't have enough evidence of cohabitation. They'll send you an RFE. You got to prove that you live together. How do you do that? Both your names on the lease to the apartment or the townhouse or the deed to the house. Both names on the title to the car, or the RV, or the motorcycle. Both names on electric bills, water bills, trash bills, etc. Josias, I have a bunch of pics of my wedding. Fantastic. Since we know each other, fantastic. And also a lot of restaurants, Starbucks receipts, and Smith's receipts of buying groceries. Fantastic. Josias, I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute. I think you've been paying close attention to this channel for quite a bit. I remember when you were in Argentina watching the channel. Right? Am I right? You were watching us from Argentina. When I check the analytics of the channel, I can see what countries are watching us. Josias, I hear every single word you say. There you go. And guess what? If you listen to me, if you do what I say, follow my advice, you'll get your green card. without an interview. Josias, I have been watching hundreds of hours of your videos. It's much, and it was free. Isn't it better to sit down with a Mountain Dew and a box of Doritos or a pack of Doritos and watch a video and learn how to do this green card application for free? How much does an immigration attorney charge? $4,000, $3,000? What is it, $1,200? There's some companies out there that you pay them to fill out your green card paperwork or your K-1 visa application. Why would you do that? This process isn't difficult. You just got to pay attention to details. That's all. You got to be patient with the process. Josias, I'm dead serious. I know. I believe you, Josias. I trust you. Miguel, Diego, what happened to your UFO portrait? I just basically made the channel where all you're focusing on is green cards and K-1 visas, not so much on my UFO picture, which was hanging up over here or over there. I want you guys to focus on the green card process, the K-1 visa process, not on my UFO picture. Josias, Diego, does my wife need to prove 3 years of taxes? Yes, for the green card application. And also, does she need to have a letter of employment from the place she works? Yes. When you fill out your when your wife fills out the affidavit of support form I-864, right here, you got to show 3 years worth of taxes. The last tax return you made and the last 2 years before that. Okay? And you got to also include the 1040 and the tax transcript and the W-2s, 1099s, etc. from the last tax return that your wife filed in 2020. Now, I don't know if you guys filed jointly together. I don't know if you got married before to do that in time. But in 2025, you got to make sure you file your taxes together jointly. Okay, Josias? Miguel, yeah, I kind of missed the UFO picture. You know, I mean, my friend gave it to me when I left Mercedes-Benz. He gave it to me as a gift. So, I mean, do you think how big the universe is, right? And how many universes are there? And how many stars are in the galaxy? And how many galaxies are there in the universe? And how many planets are going around these stars? You know, it's impossible, in my opinion, that we are by ourselves in this big universe. There could be aliens processing green cards on other planets for aliens to go to other countries on other planets. Imagine that. I'm kidding. Josias, like 1.5 years ago, she didn't work for 3 months. That's okay. Do you think that would be an issue for the I-864? No. Immigration want to know how much did she make this year or last year, actually, 2023. Look at that super chat from Brownie RSPS. A super chat. That looks like a pound sign. Just want to say thank you for all of your helpful information and videos. I wish you and Karina the best in your future. And Brownie RSPS, also to you and your family. Thank you for that fantastic super chat. That looks like a pound sign. Is that a pound sign or is it an Australian dollar? I don't know. Where are you at, Brownie? A Mountain Dew salute to Brownie. Look at that. That's excellent. Let me see. Karina, keep me on track. Karina runs this thing. Karina runs this. She's the administrator. Murga, okay. Murga Transport. Hey, thanks for answering all my questions. Murga, anytime. We are here to help you get your green card, get your K-1 visa, get your spousal visa and tourist visa with minimal stress, with free advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm giving you experience. I've got 9 years experience with this. Okay, 9 years experience doing this. Let's suppose you decide you want to hire an immigration attorney to do your green card application or your K-1 visa. If you do, ask that immigration attorney, is your wife a foreign national? Did you bring her here or did you bring your husband here on a K-1 visa? See what they say. Or did you just learn how to do this book work via going to college and taking the test? There's two ways to do a K-1 visa, right? You can be an immigration attorney. You've never married a foreign national, but you went to school and you went to the bar. You passed the bar exam. Very good. It's a hard test. Or you can listen to me and learn from the experience that I've done this. I have walked through the muddy waters for 9 years with this. Okay, I've helped hundreds of people get their green cards and their K-1 visas. You don't need to be paying anybody, but we do like those super chats. And Brownie says, it's indeed a pound sign. I'm from the United Kingdom. Very nice. We just got our I-21F approved, waiting on the NVC to create our case. Very good. A Mountain Dew salute to Brownie RSPS. And then that's French for reserve, is for respond s'il vous plaît, right? Now Francois is going to correct me on my French, but I think RSPS is French for respond s'il vous plaît, or respond if you please. I think I'm right on that. Francois will correct me if I'm wrong. But thanks for the £5, man. It doesn't have the Queen's picture on it anymore, though, right? It's got King Charles's picture. Have they printed up the new banknotes yet in England for King Charles? Hosias, she made like $23,000 in 2023, but she makes $34,000 in 2024. How big is your family size? 2? Is it a family of 2? Hosias? Marga, transport. It's not a hard process, but sometimes it's just like, what do they want now? Right. It's like, what do they want? It's correct. That's correct. Hosias, would that work to be the sponsor only, Diego? For $34,000, I would get a joint sponsor. Hosias, listen, my friend from Argentina, get a joint sponsor, cover yourself on that green before you file the green card. That's what I would do, my opinion. Veronica Sanders, can you speak on obtaining a social security number for the beneficiary once they arrive in America? There's 2 ways, Veronica. You can get a social security number once you arrive in the United States of America. There's 2 ways you can get a social security number. Number 1, you print your I-94 from the Border Patrol website. You go to the Social Security Administration with your I-94 and your K-1 visa and your passport, and apply for the Social Security number. That you can do it when you get to America. You can do it right away. Well, as soon as you can get your I-94. The second way you can apply for your Social Security number is on page 2 of the form I-485. On page 2, at the top right-hand corner, there's a little section in there where Homeland Security will apply for your Social Security number for you. You've just got to give them permission to give your information to the Social Security Administration. So those are the 2 ways to do it. Let me see. So Veronica, I just answered it for you right there. Miguel, Diego, why are there people from Venezuela who migrate to America legally, yet will still vote for the left? It makes no sense. They've been programmed as kids. Karina's asked the same question. Pergunta, por que venezuelanos aqui nos Estados Unidos legal continua eleição democrática, socialistas? Por que continua? She said they have no experience. They don't understand what they're doing. They just listen to the far left palabras, the mentiras, and they got confidence. They believe what these politicians tell them. Right, it's repeating. Karina is concerned about Venezuelans who become American citizens electing people into office here in America who think like Maduro. She's not. Yeah, it's not just Venezuelans. It's Peru, Chile, Colombia. Karina told me, she goes, lots of Latinos come here, Latinas, and they listen to all the political BS and they believe it and they keep on voting. Right. They don't do their homework. Okay. Karina understands the difference between Maduro and the conservative freedom. She understands the difference between being a republic and a dictator. Okay? Now, President Maduro, okay, it's very obvious that he was a great big fraud. It's a big fraud on the election. President Maduro, or I should say, Comrade Maduro, has got no friends in South America other than Bolivia and Nicaragua. In the whole South America, from Central America all the way down to Argentina and Chile, Maduro's got no friends. Even Brazil and Colombia, which have kind of like socialist presidents, they're still waiting for the results for the election. They will not give Maduro the check mark until he produces the results, and he's not producing them. Why? Because he was a big fraud. So Maduro is totally isolated in South America and Central America. The only friends that Maduro has is Communist China, Russia, Bolivia, and Nicaragua. Those are 4 countries out of 160 plus. Iran also, yeah, but you know, anyway. No, it's not always Venezuelanos. It's other countries too. Okay, they're not educated. They don't think. They're just glad to be in America. You know. Let's see here. Francois, Diego, get a Mountain Dew salute for the correct answer. Definitely, Francois. Josias Pazel, I made the math, Diego, and I will send my adjustment of status in like 80 days. You're good. After I got married, is it going to be fine? It's going to be fine. Francois, look at that. Francois, you support this channel like no end. Thank you for that super chat, Francois. Mountain Dew salute to Francois and Josias. Mi amigo. Now you live in Utah, right? And you got to go to Las Vegas for your biometrics. And your English is very good. You understand what I'm saying. I don't have to talk to you in Spanish. That's the secret of being successful in America. And Karina's learning English. She's doing great. She understands what I'm saying most of the time. She just can't speak it. But she understands. The secret to success in America is hard work and learn English. You're not going to learn English in a freaking day. It's going to take a year, maybe 2 years. But, you know, it is what it is, right? Josias, I made the math. No, Francois, Hardee's. Look at that. Absolutely, Francois. We got Hardee's and Mountain Dew. Thank you, Francois. We appreciate you for that. We really do. Diego gets a Mountain Dew salute. Brownie RSPS. I'm actually unsure. I haven't used banknotes in so long. Everything is bank cards nowadays. Well, you got to think about this, right? It's very important that you don't eliminate cash anywhere in the world. Once you eliminate cash, then the government knows what you're buying. When you use a bank card, the British government knows what you're buying. When I use a credit card, the US government knows what I'm buying. It's not secret. But if I use cash, the government doesn't know what I'm buying. Okay? You got to be careful with going with only bank cards. What I would do is try to spend cash too. You got to keep cash working through the system. You don't want United States, you don't want Great Britain going to a total currency with zero cash, zero paper money. You don't want to do that. Because once that happens, the government will be in total control of your finances. They're going to know what you're buying, where you're buying it, and that's enough said on that, right? Josias, my family size is just my wife and you. So that's 2 people. Nobody else. That would be 22,000 tax return. No. You need a joint sponsor. $22,000 is not enough on a 2023 tax return for a family of 2. You got to have at least $34,000. It says $25,000, but you want to be at least $35,000 minimum. Osias, you got to get a joint sponsor or you're going to get a letter from immigration. You file the green card, they're going to ask for a joint sponsor. $22,000 is not going to cut it for a family of two. So you need to find somebody, or your wife needs to find somebody and file a joint sponsor. What does a joint sponsor have to include in the paperwork? You put the joint sponsor application in with the green card application. The joint sponsor's got to provide the last tax return, the W-2 or 1099, some bank statements showing how much money's in the bank and what their income is, a letter from their boss, and 6 months worth of pay stubs. Osias, you're going to need a joint sponsor. Your wife's going to have to find a joint sponsor to help you. Do not file your green card application until you get a joint sponsor. Okay? Osias, listen to me. Okay? Pay attention. Miguel, that's cutting it pretty close. Osias, better get a joint sponsor. Miguel's one. Mountain Dew salute to Miguel. Absolutely right. Definitely need a joint sponsor, Osias. Your wife does. The joint sponsor's got to fill out the I-864, the affidavit of support. Okay? Your wife has to fill out an I-864 affidavit of support. So you're going to have two I-864s, one from your wife and one from your joint sponsor. Okay? You got it? Carlos, I'm waiting for the next available appointment for the interview at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. It's always showing no availability, and we've been waiting. Do we schedule the biometrics on the same website? Carlos, yes. When you finally get, let me ask you this. Have you paid, Carlos, have you paid for the consular fee? Have you paid the $265 consular fee? I'm just curious. Because when you pay the consular fee, it should open up a calendar. And then you can go back and check on the calendar. And then you can pick the day for the biometrics and you can pick the day for the visa interview as soon as the day opens up. Okay? So I don't know if, Carlos, I don't know if you've paid for the consular fee or not. Remember, the DS-160 is free. There's no charge for the DS-160. Lots of people would message me. How much does it cost for the DS-160? I don't know where to pay. How can I pay for the DS-160? There's no charge. It's zero. It's gratis. It's free. Okay, but you got to pay the consular fee, $265. Then you can get a calendar open up. Then you can schedule the visa interview in U.S. Travel Docs. And it's in the same website, yes. Osias, how much should my wife have to make the last tax return to be only sponsored for me? What's the amount that she should have to reach? At a minimum, $34,000. Now it says $25,000, okay? For a family of two, the minimum income is $25,550. But you want to be at least at $30,000, $34,000, somewhere in there, to make sure the immigration officer's got a warm and fuzzy feeling with you guys. Okay? You want to be at least at $32,000, $33,000, $34,000. You need a joint sponsor. Okay, you got to get a joint sponsor, Osias. Brownie RSPS to Osias. From what I understand, you have to be above the poverty line for the given state. Now listen, there are two states in America that have a higher poverty line, Alaska and Hawaii. If you live in Alaska, if you live in Hawaii, okay, the poverty level is much higher. You got to be at a higher standard, a higher bar of income. If you live in Alaska or Hawaii, if you live in the other 48 states, okay, those are the numbers I'm referring to. The minimum income in the 48 contiguous states, which doesn't include Alaska and Hawaii, is $25,550 for a family of two. That's 125% of the federal income requirements minimum. Immigration don't want to see you at minimum. They want to see you at least $5,000 above. So you want to be at least $30,000, $31,000, $32,000, $33,000, $34,000 minimum for a family of two. If you don't make at least $34,000 a year, you need a joint sponsor. Even though the minimum says $25,550. Okay? You got it? Let me see here. Francois, thank you, Francois, for the 2 super chats. We appreciate you, Francois. You support this channel like no end. You always are supporting us. Josias, I speak a really good English. Josias, tú hablamos inglés muy bien. Is good? Speak all the time English. Siempre hablamos en inglés. Is good? Since 3 años. Josias, 3 años, habla inglés. Muy bien. 24 hours a day. You gotta sleep, Josias. Don't be at, 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't be waking up speaking English. Okay? Josias, so what it really matters is what it says in the 2023 tax return. You're correct. Or what my wife makes this day in 2024. You're correct again, because she makes $34,000 a year in 2024. Okay? You got to prove it. You got to prove this. Okay? How do you prove that your wife makes $34,000 a year in 2024? A letter from her boss stating that she makes that much money. Bank statements for the last, what are we in September, August? For the last 8 months, showing that she makes that much money. Pay stubs for 6 months. The W-2, you don't have that yet. You don't have a tax return or a W-2 for 2024. You won't get that till 2025. January 31 is the cutoff to get W-2s, I believe, and 1099s. But if you can prove that income for 2024, you still, though, need to get a joint sponsor to cover yourself. You might get an immigration officer that's just hardcore, wants to see $40,000 a year. Remember, the consular officer, the immigration officer that decides your case, has lots of leeway. The U.S. State Department tells these people, you make the decision, Mr. Consular Officer, Ms. Consular Officer. You're in charge of this case. You can make the call to deny it, to send an RFE, or to approve it. So you got to cover yourself with this joint sponsor. Let me see. Josiah, so for example, I would ask my father-in-law to be the joint sponsor. He would have to fill the I-864. Correct. That's correct. Is being a joint sponsor a big deal for the person that participates? No, it's no big deal. Your father-in-law is basically saying he's going to cover you, okay, until you become a U.S. citizen or until you've been working for 10 years, okay, in the United States. So he's taking financial responsibility for you, plus your wife, okay? So as long as you plan on staying married for eternity and you don't plan on going back to Argentina and you're going to stay married, it's no big deal. Ask your father-in-law to be a joint sponsor as long as he makes over $34,000 a year. Okay, he fills out the I-864. He provides a copy of his last tax return, his W-2, bank statements, etc. You got it? Uno Mikey, I emailed Bogota and I got a response 2 days ago saying that they received my application and they will reach out to me. How long will they reach out to me? Because my wife interview is on October. Well, they're going to reach out to you probably next month or in September, because you're on a spousal visa, right? Uno Mikey, you're on a spousal visa. Your wife's from Cali, right? In Colombia, right? Huh? It's Medellin. Is it Medellin? In September, you'll hear from the embassy. Relax. Number one, you make contact with the embassy. They responded to you. What does that mean? Immigration keeps extending your NOA-2 letter. Okay? If you don't contact the embassy with an email, they'll think you've abandoned the case. But you haven't. You have proof of contacting the embassy, so your case is good. You're still in play. Everything's fine. Just got to wait for the embassy now. They're busy. Bogota is busy. Carlos, I did the DS-160 and it was free. That's correct. but the updated website says I have to wait for the next available, and then I can pay the $265. Okay, there you go. So you're waiting for the embassy in Bogota to have space, right? To appointments available. Then you pay the consular fee. Then you can schedule the biometrics and schedule the visa interview. And I hear our cat, Tokyo. Do you want to see the cat? You want to see Tokyo, our cat? He's at the door being a big baby. Meow. He's a big baby, Tokyo. He's from Colombia. So he's out. He controls the Pueblo. Tokyo, I think he controls the whole subdivision now. You know, he said, I'm the Colombian cat. And I'm controlling the barrio. Really, he's a pretty tough cat. So, Carlos, you just got to wait on the embassy now, okay? You're good. Josias, Diego, my wife uses to make $50,000 in 2022. Does that matter? Yes, that's important when it comes to the adjustment of status. Yes, it's important. Make sure that gets documented in the paperwork when you file for the green card. Okay? And she also made a lot of money in 2022 and 2021. That's good too. But all they care about is how much did she make in 2023 or how much is she making in 2024. That's all they care about right now. Miguel, this year will be the most important election in U.S. history. In the United States of America, on November 5th, Mountain Dew salute to Miguel, the American people will decide whether they want to be a socialist communist country or a free constitutional republic. That's what they're going to decide on November 5th. You got two choices for president, right? One's a Marxist socialist, and the other is a capitalist, basically an independent. He's not a Republican. He's an independent. He's just plain a Republican. But he's a capitalist entrepreneur that knows how to get things done. He creates jobs. He builds buildings. He builds condos. He builds houses. He builds hotels. He's created hundreds and thousands of jobs for hundreds of thousands for blacks, Latinos, everybody, right? The other person has created zero jobs, produced nothing, and has no plan. What is her plan for our country? Nobody knows. She won't give an interview. Oh, I think she's going to give an interview on CNN. That's going to be taped. And then they can edit out the stuff where she screws up, right? November 5th is a big decision for our country. Francois, Diego and Karina, Hamid and I wouldn't be at the stage where we are if it wasn't for your guidance. We're here for you, Francois, and for Hamid too. Motivational support and constant belief in us. We always believe in you, Francois. We just had to get you on the right path. You do such a good with this channel. I pinch myself at times because I couldn't believe his interview is in 3 weeks. Well, Francois, a year ago, it wasn't going nowhere, right? You were up a blind alley. You were floating down the Colorado River in a canoe without a paddle. What we did was we threw you a paddle and gave you a map. Now you're 3 weeks away from a visa interview. It's a good deal, right? Bylon BLS official. Hi, Diego. It's the same for U.S. military. What is? What's the same for the U.S. military? Josias, Diego, we used my wife's last tax return for the K-1 visa, and it worked perfectly. Yeah, because you only got to bid 100%. Why wouldn't it be different for adjustment of status? Because a K-1 visa is a non-immigrant visa, which turns into an immigrant visa when the plane lands in America, and then you adjust status for permanent residency. When you apply for a K-1 visa, it is treated as a non-immigrant visa, which is basically a tourist visa. So your wife got a tourist visa called a K-1, and if you are a tourist coming to the United States, you've only got to prove income of 100% of the minimum federal income guidelines for your foreign country, right? But when you adjust status to green card, you become a permanent resident, and you got to be at 125%. But in my opinion, from my humble experience over the last 9 years, you got to make at least $5,000 above the minimum for the green card application, not for the K-1 visa. When you go to your K1 visa interview, okay, that's great. You're at 100%. That's great. Approved. Get on a plane, fly to America. Now you got to be. Now you're playing in the big sandpit for the green card. Immigration want to see income, sufficient income from the sponsor, way above the minimum, way above. You know, you got to listen to me, guys. Pay attention. Just pay attention. I'm not giving you bad information. I'm telling you how it is with immigration. I know what they're thinking. I know what's going on. I know what the wheels are that are turning in their heads. Okay. Let me see. Miguel, have you considered getting moderators for the live stream? No. Why would I want to put other people out there as a moderator? What do you mean? I mean, if they got 9 or 10 years experience with green card applications, maybe, or K1 visas, but I don't want to put that responsibility on somebody. Sylvan, hi Diego, because I'm solely responsible for the content on this channel. Okay, so if I can't make a mistake, because if I make a mistake, that's going to hurt somebody. It's gonna be a problem for their green card, right? If I make a mistake, so I cannot make a mistake, and I don't make mistakes. Okay, so I accept full responsibility for the content, so I don't put a moderator on here. Sylvan Spector, hi Diego and Karina. Under normal circumstances in Bogota, do you know how long it takes to receive a K1 visa after the interview? 5 to 7 days. My fiance has lived her entire life in Colombia. Sylvan, fantastic. Mountain Dew salute to Sylvan and to your prometida, or prometido, excuse me, because you said fiance. Congratulations. But you're going to have to get the police certificate for Colombia. Carlos, when is it good to schedule the appointment for the medical with Dr. Dennis? You want to do it at least 2 weeks before the visa interview. I have this contact info. You have this, right? Does it work? You got to check the email and the phone number to see if it works. From the packet 3, packet 4 email from the embassy, right? Go ahead and email. You can email, and you want to schedule the medical exam at least 10 days. Yes, dear. At least 8 to 10 days before the visa interview. Phoebe Vlogs. Hey Diego, what should I do? I filed my DS-160, and at the time to pay, they said no available appointments. I'm really stressed. Don't stress. Stop stressing. What should I do to get my petition expires in October? Okay, you got to maintain contact with the embassy with emails. You got to email the embassy and say, look, you submitted the DS-160, but you didn't pay for it. You haven't paid the consular fee yet, right? So what's going to happen is in October, your DS-160 is going to time out. It's going to become obsolete. So what you need to do is submit a new DS-160, okay, in October, right? Submit it, I would say, at the end of October, but you got to send an email because that's when the fiscal year ends, October 31. But what you got to do is send an email to the embassy in whatever country you're in and ask them for a status on your case and explain your situation and say that your NOA-2 letter expires in October. But it's going to be extended, okay? It's going to be extended once you maintain contact with the embassy. Francois, it's an awesome deal when I go to Abu Dhabi in a few weeks. Tell me what I can get you both from the UAE. Francois, you don't have to get us anything, but we collect magnets for the fridge. We love fridge magnets. Everywhere we went in Colombia, we were buying fridge magnets. We went to Villa de Leyva, we were buying fridge magnets. Cartagena, we went to Castle de Philippe, we were buying fridge magnets, right? Francois, fridge magnets, we love them. Brownie RSPS, I also appreciate what you do to give guidance to an ambiguous process. Has been invaluable. So I'd like to give a big thank you. Brownie, you're welcome. There's a Mountain Dew salute. I'm almost out of Mountain Dew. Look at that. You're welcome, Brownie. Brownie in the United Kingdom. Now, Brownie, you're fixing to come to America. You need to go and eat as many fish and chips as you can. Because the fish and chips in the United States doesn't taste quite the same as the fish and chip shops in England, okay? Hosea, to show my wife's yearly salary of 2024, I need to show them bank account statements for the last 8 months, right? For 2024. You got to show where the direct deposits have been going into the bank for her job. For her to be my only sponsor because she makes $37,000 since 9 months ago. Right. So you're only trying to prove 2024 income. So you got to get basically 9 months, 8 or 9 months, depends on when you file for your green card, worth of bank statements, and then you highlight the direct deposits for her, and the net will be added up by immigration, and they will be able to adjudicate your case for income. But you got to prove it. You just can't write a letter and say my wife makes 34 grand a year or 30 or whatever. $37,000 a year. You got to prove it with bank statements, pay stubs. Get pay stubs, a letter from her boss. Sylvan, do you have to apply for adjustment of status before the 90 days are up for the K-1? No. The K-1 goes away the second you land in America. When the airplane lands in the United States of America, the K-1 becomes obsolete. Then you go face to face with a Border Patrol officer or Customs and Border Patrol officer, whatever you want to call them, and you get an I-94. Your K-1 visa goes away, and now the K-1 visa is just a one-way visa to enter America, one way. You can't go back on it. You can only go one way. Then you get an I-94. You got to get married within those 90 days on the I-94. You can file your green card after the I-94 expires, but I recommend filing for your green card about 60 to 70 days after you have got married. You're good, Sylvan, relax. Hosea, she makes more than enough to be my only sponsor. That's right. But you got to prove it. You don't have a tax return for 2024. You don't get that till 2025. So you got to prove the income to immigration. Francois, we like the channel as it is with Diego and Karina. Wouldn't change a single thing. Yeah, listen. It's Miguel's idea for a moderator was good. It's a great idea, but I'm not gonna put that responsibility on anybody. Okay, I accept full responsibility for the content of the channel, so it's all on me. So if I screw up, it's all on me. Mona bless. Evening, Mr. and Mrs. Ross, Diego and Karina and Diego. How do I put my wife's adjustment of status on hold? Just found out she's just using me. She's using me. I need to get proof. Here's what you do. You don't put the application for her green card on hold. You don't file it. Number one, you do not sign the form I-864. Do not sign or submit the I-864. The I-864 is what's going to tie you financially to her. So if you have found out, Mona bless, that your wife is just using you for a green card, you don't file for her adjustment of status, okay? And you contact immigration. You contact immigration and customs enforcement and tell them what's going on. You file a report with immigration and let them handle it. And then you wash your hands. Don't get married, and tell her or him, it depends on the situation, to find someplace else to live, because you are no longer going to accept responsibility for them. Okay? But you need to notify immigration and customs enforcement in an email so you can prove the contact. Okay? But don't file the paperwork. You don't put it on hold, okay? There's no such thing as putting it on hold. If she's using you, dude, you don't file it. You put it on permanent block. And then let immigration handle it. And tell her to get on the next plane back to wherever it is she came from. Okay? You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to have evidence. Okay? You got it? Josias, I want to be sure because if I can show them my wife's bank statement that she makes the money, 37K, I wouldn't need a joint sponsor. Listen to me, Josias. Listen. Get a joint sponsor and also prove your wife makes $37,000 a year. And you submit both with your green card package. What if the consular officer decides, I don't want to accept the $37,000 for 1 year, for 9 months? The consular officer may not accept that. Put that evidence in your green card application plus a joint sponsor. Sylvan, thanks for all you do here. I followed your instructions and my interview is in 4 weeks. Feeling good. Sylvan, oh, Mountain Dew salute. Mountain Dew salute. Carlos, thanks Diego and Karina. This process is going too fast and we were expecting to be in this position next year. No, come on. I filed for the I-129F in May of 2024. Boom. Things are speeding up, right? Josias, Diego, thank you so much. So show them the proof of my wife's making 37K. Do I have to show them the 2023 tax return too? Do I still need to show them what you got to do? Listen, Josias, pay attention. And then I'm gonna go get something to eat because I'm hungry. Can't go hungry. You're gonna get a joint sponsor with your father-in-law. You're gonna get your sponsor. Your wife is gonna fill out form I-864. She needs to go to page 5, and on page 5, she's gonna list her taxes for 2023, 2022, and 2021. She's going to list how much she made in 2023, 2022, and 2021. She's going to get tax returns for 2023, W-2s, etc., bank statements, pay stubs, whatever, for 2023. And you're going to write a letter, she will, of explanation saying this is how much she makes in 2024 as a separate part of the financial part of this submission. Okay, you got it? And we're out of here. We're out of here. Brownie, I will definitely fill myself up on fish and chips. Good. Lots of salt and vinegar, pickled onions. I'm looking forward to getting ranch in the United States. You can't get it in England. We got plenty of ranch here in the United States. And we will see you on Saturday. And thanks for the super chats, guys. And thanks for the £5 got from England. That's amazing.